heading to the cabin. At least they plowed. It might get a little sketchy. Whoa! There's a boulder when we get closer. And it's bumpy. Check back in a bit. I hope no one's coming down this hill. You can't see elevation, but this is actually a pretty steep and ugly hill. Nice thing so far is there's been no traffic, although if I get stuck, I'm going to reverse my opinion. Yeah, the neighbors are up. Oh, shoot, stay on the road. Now let's see. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh. I would like to drive the truck in, but right now I might have to snowshoe a mile. Let's find out how deep this is once we get past. Oh, I can do this. That's not bad. We're in luck. Just need to get over that hump. It's not bad. I think we're gonna make it. Yeah. It's always good to open your door, take a quick look, and just make sure things are going okay. I'm not dragging bottom, so I should be fine. We'll check. That looks good. Oh yeah. We're good. We got this. I'm feeling better about this. I think the hard part is behind me. As long as there's no drifting in the gully and I can get up to the gate, we're good. Ah, that's what I didn't want to see. Drifting right here. Ah, shoot. Well, I made it past the drift. It's a secret how I did that. Anyway, so far so good. I haven't bottomed out or ripped anything off the truck yet. You can see the cabin now at least. I took the lower wind deflector off the bottom of the bumper the other day. Good thing. I usually lock the gate and close it if I want to be left alone. I think I might just leave it open. If someone comes in here, they're gonna be plowing. And if they see that I'm in, I'm perfectly fine with them coming in and saying hi and me sharing. Oh shoot, I didn't think of that. As I was saying, if someone comes in here and they plow, I'm perfectly fine sharing some beverages. So, yeah. Quarter mile left. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh! Ooh, 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 ooh. Made it. Okay. Now I gotta get set up to boil. Let's see how long that takes. That's not a Honda advertisement, but that little sucker worked pretty good. So, yeah, here we go. Clear it off. I suppose I better get the RO. Get moving. I suppose it's got to snow because I made room for it. Yep. Well, I get set up. You've probably seen this hat a bunch. My wife made it for me back in 2006 when we first met. I think it was 2006 or 7. I mean, we met in 6. She might have made the hat in 7. Anyway, my favorite hat, crocheted. I've been wearing this thing forever, and I'm gonna keep wearing it. So, just a fun story about my hat. Okay, let's get going. Can't believe it's April, and it looks like this. Wow. We already pulled the taps, so I guess that's one less thing to worry about with the snow. Caught that just in time. Shut off the blower. The air is so cold that steam just turns white. You can see it swirling up around when it gets above the garage. Pretty sheltered in this area in front of the garage, but you go up about 6 feet or about 12 feet away from the garage and it's just swirling. Look at those curtains. Way to go, Mom. All right, night number 1. Those 3 garbage pails were completely RO'd. That's about 90 gallons. Well, more like 95. The tank has some left over that Dad just couldn't stand to toss. So I filled up that can and there's still some left. We'll do that first tomorrow morning. And then the blob, as we call it. 275 gallons of sap. So quite a bit to go yet. Good first night. Got a good boil. Not too long, but enough to get going. All tucked in. Good night. Good morning. Transferring the last of the sap from the tank. I have the RO going. And the boil is just about started. We got freezing rain last night, thunder, and even lightning. So, I think it's going to be a good day. Sunshine, finally. Under 75 gallons to go. And the sun's out. We run about 250 watts an hour. And right now we're making more power than we're using. So yeah, it's going good.
It almost looks like sawdust, doesn't it?
I don't know. I wonder if it's like niter or calcium.
I don't think it's any mold or anything because the temperature's been down 35 or less.
Yeah. I wonder if that's niter, because
I think it's some kind of residue coming from the tree because
tastes fine.
yeah,
It's not slippery.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, oh well. I guess we're, what, 10 gallons, 15 gallons short?
Because even, you know, it looks worse because of the bottom of this thing.
Yeah.
because of the floor and then the edges. I think because it is not, in my opinion, well, it is a little milky, I guess, but yeah, see, I think it's something from the trees.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because I would expect it to be slippery, have smell, and some kind of taste, and it's got none of that.
No, it is not mold or anything like that.
No, it's just some kind of precipitate. We know for sure now it's not anything bacteria related.
Yep.
So no slime.
Right on the head with that. As far as mice.
For batch 2 of 2023, I collected some interesting data, and I want to compare it to last year, 2022, batch number 2. The first thing is wood consumption. Wood consumption stayed the same at 3/4 of a face cord. However, I was able to process 407 gallons of sap this batch versus 330 last year. The reason for that is going to be twofold. Partly because of the reverse osmosis and partly because of improvements to the arch. On the arch, if you remember, I made a new fire grate. It was expanded steel, which held up fine. It didn't disintegrate or self-destruct, but it let far too many coals drop down into the ash box, resulting in wasted heat and fuel that just went unburned. The new ash grate keeps almost all the coals up above, allowing only the ash to fall through. Additionally, the firebox receives some extra fire brick along either side of the grate. The boil rate this year was right around 10.2 gallons per hour, where last year was 8.5. Trying to figure that out, I looked at how the boil was going, and I noticed even this year some differences. When I run the fan wide open, I end up with a fierce boil on the front half of the pan. If I dial it down to about 80% or so, and again, if you don't know, I have a 12-volt inline blower fan through stainless exhaust pipe that goes into here. And because it's 12 volts, you can use a motor speed controller to make it variable speed. So I vary the speed. That is super handy when it comes to finishing the batch on the pan. Anyway, running at about 80%, I noticed that the boil covers almost the entire pan, and it's nice and even and casual. So I guess the advice there is to run a casual boil over the entire pan versus letting it boil fiercely over part of the pan. Comparing 2023 to 2022, last year I ran a 3-membrane, 400 gallon per day setup with recirculation, and I certainly recommend that setup. This year I increased to 5 membranes and found that recirculation didn't add anything to the equation, so I do not recommend recirculation with 5 membranes. See the previous video for information on that. The sap preheater coils. This is the second year that I've used it, and I just now finally was able to determine what its output is. I've known that it's been able to produce 8 to 14 degree increases in sap temperature, usually averaging around 10. However, this year I collected a data set which nails down exactly what's going on. Without the preheater, the sap was 36 degrees. With it, it was 44. That's an 8 degree increase in sap temperature. The flow is about 25 gallons per hour through that coil. That 8 degree increase increased the permeate 2.5 gallons per hour, or a 15% increase. If you're looking at all these numbers, the main takeaway is that if you can increase your sap temperature, you can increase the efficiency of your RO. In this case, 8 degrees is 2.5 gallons per hour in this case, or 15% more water removed, which frankly means a shorter boil and a shorter amount of time spent running the RO. Little tip that I learned the hard way. I use 2 filter cloths, which are just these guys right here. And I only need to clip the bottom one. So I clip the bottom one, and then I can set another one over the top. So when the first one gets clogged, I can just pull it out. I've clipped both of them at the same time, and that's just been a struggle. But yeah, all you have to do is clip the one underneath. Just fine tune the boil here. Too hot and we get foam, too little, no bubbles. Working smarter, not harder. Once the Brix reached 55, I kept checking every 2 to 3 minutes. Finishing a large undivided pan works well with a little practice. When the pan is around 218 degrees Fahrenheit and the Brix reads just over 58, the fire is quenched. The radiant heat from the fire brick will evaporate another 1 to 2 bricks. For syrup to preserve correctly, the Brix must be over 58.5 at 218 degrees Fahrenheit. Too high of a Brix will result in sugar crystals forming in the bottom of the bottle. Too low will result in mold. The finished syrup is then filtered and sealed into containers. The final bottle is marked with an X, as it will contain the most sediment. For visual appeal, there are a number of ways to remove the sugar sand that can settle out in the following days after canning. Leaving or removing this sediment does not affect the taste. An initial cleaning of the boil pan is done immediately, and inside the cabin we clean the rest of our tools. All the sap tanks were rinsed and will be more thoroughly cleaned in the weeks ahead. And this is how 400 gallons is started in the evening, boiled all day the next, and then finished by noon the final day. This batch with 10 gallons, so our season total is right around 21. So 2023 was a great year, and looking forward to next year. Thanks a lot for checking out the channel and watching. Take care.